So before I even get into her qualifications, what do you think? You're obviously plugged into both the legal and political worlds in Florida. Was it always supposed to be Pam Bondi? Was she plan A? Did Trump actually think he could get Matt Gaetz confirmed? What do you think?
Well, Jesse, I certainly think it seemed like, an A1. This was, the backup quarterback that was already on the sideline holding the clipboard and ready to come in. You've already talked about the fact that her approval should be much easier than the person before her based on her experience, her qualifications, and whatever baggage she has. It's minute compared to the baggage that Gaetz had. And perhaps this was simply the person who he was going to put in and wanted to put up Gaetz ahead of him to make it a clearer path.
Well, let's talk about her. You've crossed paths with her over the years. Is she a credible, qualified pick to lead the Justice Department?
Well, she came up through the system, Jesse, the same way a lot of us did. She was an assistant state attorney up in Hillsborough County, trying all sorts of cases, third-degree felonies on her way up. She then left that office, ran successfully for 2 terms as Attorney General, running a very large office of prosecutors, both in Tallahassee on the civil side and then through the statewide prosecutor's office. Very much a law and order prosecutor, conservative. She took on the department itself with regard to some healthcare issues that had come up. She made a name for herself during a time when there were pain management clinics that were being opened and run here in the state of Florida. So again, she comes off as an experienced law and order type of a prosecutor, one who traditionally Republicans would be putting at the head of the Attorney General's office.
I think as Dan hosts the show and he says there's, qualifications and then there's should she be disqualified? I think she really just is a different kind of level than when we talk about Matt Gaetz. Now, talking about what her mission might be, you heard Donald Trump saying that her priority will be, cleaning up the DOJ he feels is weaponized. Pam Bondi was on this show, I think back in September. She was discussing the attempted assassination of Donald Trump. I want to play a piece of sound for you. We'll talk about it on the other side.
You've got Donald Trump. So he's a victim, of course, of not 1, but 2 attempted assassinations. 2. Yet the agency who's investigating him, wanting to lock him up forever, the FBI and the DOJ, they raided his home at Mar-a-Lago. The director of the FBI, after the first assassination attempt, said, oh, President Trump may have been hit by a piece of stray glass. We all know he was shot. And the head of the FBI in the Southern District of Florida, Dan, made vicious statements about the president that he had to remove from social media.
So would it be fair to say that she seems like she's on the same page with Donald Trump about what the mission statement will be?
More than fair to say, Jesse. I mean, I think it's clear from the comments that we just listened to that she made, some other comments that she made with regard to the special prosecutor and those prosecutions. She's absolutely on the same page as the president-elect.
Let me ask you this $1 million question. Is she going to be confirmed by the Senate? Because maybe I should say the $25,000 question. Since her name has come in here, one of the things that's been a bit of criticism, controversy of her past is that she received this $25,000 donation from the Trump Foundation. It was made to Bondi's PAC in 2013. And this was just days after her office announced she was considering joining a lawsuit against Trump University alleging fraud. She didn't follow through on that. Some people said, oh, what could this be? Now, it was never brought up on bribery charges or anything like that. But the optics don't look great. I imagine that's something that will be discussed in her confirmation hearing. Should that happen, you think she'll make it through?
She's going to have to field some tough questions about that. Look, on paper, and that's what we're talking about now, timing is everything, and appearances go a long way. And yes, that would appear on paper to be more than a coincidence. But as you pointed out, no charges were brought. It was made to a political action committee. Look, we recently had a case down here in South Florida where there were contributions made to a political action committee. And when they got to the bottom of what it was, it turned out it had nothing to do with what the allegations were as to why the money was given. Yeah. So just because something appears on paper to be one way, well, let's see what her answers are to these questions. Let's see how far they press. Let's see how far they go with the paper trail on that. It's going to be one of the questions in the forefront of the things that she's asked.
Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your screen. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.